I've just found this crazy little treasure here in this room. I can't quite believe it. Wow. Uncharted Drake's Fortune for the PlayStation 3. Can you believe it? There was actually a PlayStation 3. We have the PlayStation 5 now. But wow, this was the start of the journey that made a movie with Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg in. I can't quite believe it. What was this, like 10 years old or something? Wow. About that movie anyway. What is up everyone, Movie back again with another review, and this is going to be for the 2022 film Uncharted, and it's directed by Reluben, Fleischer and stars Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg. This tells the story of Nathan Drake, who teams up with Victor Sullivan in order to find some long lost treasures. Now, I've seen a ton of hate leading up towards this movie from the movie posters, because that seems like an important thing these days, to the trailers, to the casting choices. And I was kind of sitting back there, not really listening to anyone, because I was just thinking, this movie looks like a ton of fun. Now, I know a lot of video game movies tend to not do very well because it is kind of hard to adapt them 10-hour journeys that you have onto the big screen. But was I right to disagree with them people and think that this was actually going to be a fun film? Let's find out. And this being a video game adaptation, I do feel like a lot of fans of Uncharted will appreciate the little nods and throwbacks here that have gone into this film. Not only that though, there are stories that happen within the first 5 games that are sort of integrated into this film, even though they are, some of it may be from part 3, some of it may be from Uncharted 4. And I kind of liked that. I think that worked well. But my biggest comparison to the game would be Tom Holland as Nathan Drake. And a lot of people did have problems with this because they were saying he doesn't really look like Nathan Drake and he's too young to play him, basically. But I didn't really have a problem with that because it's an origin story, really, of when he does first meet Sully. And I thought, because Nathan Drake is a wise ass, Tom Holland really does play that character in Spider-Man a lot of the time. So I just didn't see a problem with it. And me going in to see this movie only confirmed to me that I was right to think that. And this isn't me coming out saying I'm right and you're wrong. It's nothing like that. I just didn't see where the finger pointing was coming from. I didn't feel like it was necessary. And I thought he was one of the biggest positives of this film. Yes, he does feel like Tom Holland a lot, but like I just said, Nathan Drake feels like Tom Holland. He's the same sort of personality. And I just think it was a really, really good casting choice, and he was excellent in this movie for me. And this is only bettered when Mark Wahlberg comes on screen with Tom Holland as Victor Sullivan, because them two are best friends in the games. And I think they've done really well to plant them seeds here, because the chemistry is great. They have a lot of wit between them, a lot of humour, and they do have really some funny moments together. But by the end of the film, they just feel way more connected, and it felt like a really good arc that these two go through together. By the way, I just want to give a quick mention to Sophia Ali here, who plays Chloe Fraser. Now, I thought she was going to be a little bit more of a background character, but she shares a hell of a lot of screen time with these two, and she was a really good standout character who brought a lot of fun and energy to this film and fitted right in there. But I wouldn't go as far to say only fans of the game can enjoy this movie, because that can be a problem with some source material sometimes involving newcomers. You've really got to try and grab that audience as well. But I feel very confident in saying that people who have never played these games before can go into this movie and have such a fun experience. I mean, this isn't Dark Souls or anything where you probably have to be heavily involved in the lore to understand what's going on. It's just a simple adventure movie and can probably be compared more likely to the Indiana Jones franchise. I'm not saying it's on that level, but it kind of just reminds you of that. But one thing I really did appreciate that they did bring from the game, as well as some other things, was the puzzle solving, because there is a ton of that in the Uncharted franchise, and I really, really enjoyed seeing these characters trying to solve these clues to get from one point to the next. Added to this, we have a cool little score and some really funny moments as well. Like I said, Sully and Nate do have a lot of great humour between them, but I just have to say that there's this big bulky Scottish villain in here, and he really just made me laugh a hell of a lot in this movie. Special mention to him. He was just a great little side villain to have there. I mean, this was to be expected, wasn't it? They were always going to throw that humour in there like they do with most blockbuster films, and there's lots of great little action scenes here and there. I guess what I'm trying to say is it does feel a little bit generic, and for me personally sometimes that isn't a bad thing, because I knew what I was getting into and I came out and got what I thought I was gonna get. If you allow yourself to have fun with Uncharted, Uncharted will have fun with you. It knows it's not a masterpiece. It knows it's exactly what it is, and that is a popcorn flick. But that does unfortunately also bring some problems with it. Now, I know some of you have probably seen the trailers here who are watching this, and it's on one of the movie posters. But there's a scene where Nathan Drake is hanging on to a tether of crates that have, been pulled out of a plane there. And he just climbs these boxes with absolute ease, with no fear whatsoever, even though he's never been in that situation before. And it kind of took me out the film a bit. It felt a little bit too far-fetched. In fact, it felt a hell of a lot too far-fetched. When a film asks you to leave your brain at the door, you can do that and have fun, but this movie asks you to leave your head there at scenes like this, and it can sometimes take a little bit of enjoyment out, actually. Now, this is probably really the only scene where I felt it was a bit too far-fetched, but I was just shaking my head going, yeah, I mean, I just can't invest myself into this moment. And that scene goes even more ridiculous, but I'm not going to get into spoiler territory there, but you will know what I mean when you see the film. And also, I did have a problem with some of the locations where these massive clues or treasures were hidden, because you're meant to believe that in 500 years no one has come across this, and the little door where we have to go to find it might just be behind some bar where tons of people go every single day and no one's ever noticed it. It does ask a lot to make you believe in that, but the third act does make up a hell of a lot for that when we go to some more interesting locations of the film. By the way, I just quickly want to note that the scenery and the effects here, that was one thing that really did frustrate me in the trailers. I thought, they're just going to be so lazy here with the backgrounds and stuff. But honestly, it never come across that way. I thought the movie looked fine. Anyway, guys, I'm just going to go ahead and rate this movie now. I'm going to give Uncharted a 7.5 out of 10. I am actually going to go on record to say that this is one of the best video game adaptations that I have seen. I had a lot of fun with this movie, I really did. And the post-credit scenes stay seated because it does sort of tease a second one. I'm not going to lie, I'd be well up for that. Okay, at the end of these reviews, I always like to leave a little fun fact. Now, a fun fact for Uncharted is that this is Sony PlayStation Productions' first ever feature film. So I do wonder if they have anything else planned down the line. God of War, maybe? Who would play Kratos? Oh yes, I know, Jason Momoa. There is no one else. Don't even think about it. Maybe we'll get that one next. I will be well up for that. Okay guys, hope you all enjoyed this review. Please consider subscribing to this channel. Got a lot more reviews coming, lots more videos, and if you want to comment about Uncharted, leave it down below and I'll reply to every single one of you, I promise. Take it all easy guys. See you all in the next video.